Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. My name is Schmitt Wylde, and today I'm gonna be trying to do a new kind of content for the channel. It's been a long time now that I've been wanting to expand the type of content that I do on the channel, and I am well aware that I'm not the greatest person to do reviews on games. I lack the critical eye to judge a game by its good things and its bad things. I'm not a very good person to point these kind of things out. However, I do want to try to share my opinions on the games that I have played, because this could help other people to see the game through my eyes, you know. And as this is gonna be the first episode, the first try that I'm gonna attempt this, and today I'm gonna bring you my wild thoughts on Diablo and the Hellfire expansion. Now, it is no secret to anyone that knows me that I am a huge Diablo fan. I really enjoy the Diablo franchise in general, despite I never played Diablo 4 yet, but don't judge me there. However, Diablo 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, and I have quite a lot of memories of playing Diablo 1 back in my house when I was a little kid and early teens, and I played here with my friends. I used to visit my friends and we played on their house as well. But despite that, I never really played the Hellfire expansion. I knew about it and I had a friend that had the game, but personally I never really played the game for myself. I knew what it was and I knew the new things it brought to the original game, but having to play that for myself, I did that for the first time on my most recent playthrough on the channel. Now, let me say here right off the bat, the Hellfire expansion is not that good. It has its high points, but overall, as a gameplay experience, I would recommend to anyone who can get the expansion on GOG or wherever. Play once to figure out for yourself, but that's it. I honestly don't see the point of keep replaying this expansion, because, like I said, it's not that good. At least not. It's my opinion. On my eyes, it's not that good of a game. Why do I say that? It did brought a few new items to the original game that somewhat could help, like different kinds of potions and elixirs that would improve your items by a little bit. It had the great function of allowing you to jog inside the town, which makes for a much more fast-paced game, but only inside the town. I don't know why they didn't implement that inside the dungeons as well, because Diablo 1 is a very slow-paced game. You play the original Diablo 1 inside the town, inside the dungeons. Your character is only walking, and it's tedious, it's boring, and I understand if a lot of people who try to play this game today for the first time, they might get annoyed by this feature. So it would be nice if the Hellfire expansion allow us to run or to jog inside dungeons as well. That would make for a much more fast-paced gaming experience, in my opinion. Hellfire also introduced one official new character for us to choose. Originally, the game had the warrior, which is a melee character. It had the rogue, which is the archer type of character, and we have the famous sorcerers. Hellfire brought to us a new kind of character in the form of the monk, which is specialized in pretty much hand-to-hand combat. Like if you play Final Fantasy, for example, it's pretty much the same as the monk in Final Fantasy, where it's actually stronger if you leave the character without any kind of armor or any kind of weapons. You attack the enemies with your bare fists, for example. In my playthrough, I didn't choose the monk, because I've always tried to do a sorcerer playthrough on Diablo, but never had a chance, and I figured might as well do it now. But from what I hear, the monk it's an okay character, but not that special in my opinion. The Hellfire expansion had 2 more secret kinds of characters for you to choose. However, you would have to mess around in the installation files in order to make them available to you. But they were the Barbarian, which has the same sprite as the Warrior, and the Bard, which has the same sprite as the Rogue. Now, the main reason that I say that the Hellfire expansion is not a very good game is because of the new areas that it brought to the original game is not that memorable in my opinion. I'm saying in my opinion a lot, but that's pretty much what this video is all about, right? So we have 8 new levels in this expansion, divided into 2 new areas. First one, we have the nest, and then we have the crypt. They are not together, FYI. First you need to go to the nest, defeat a boss over there so you can get an item and unlock the crypt, which is by the cathedral. Now the nest, how can I describe it? It's pretty much like a mess. Like, it's very busy to the eye. It's not like well developed in my opinion. Like, for example, let's take out the cathedral, the very first area we play in the Diablo 1. It's very memorable. Everyone who plays the game goes there first, and it's very pleasant to the eye, let's put it like that. The design of the area, the layout is very concise, very pretty. I could say that. However, the nest is not like that. I mean, even the worst area in the original Diablo 1, at least for me, it used to be the caves, because of how mazy it is. It's very easy to like go to a path and it's a dead end, and then you have to backtrack and so on and so forth. The nest is pretty much like you are inside the guts of a giant monster, you know what I mean? It's not a very beautiful place, and the enemies inside the nest also not appealing in the slightest, in my opinion. They doesn't bring anything new. The sound that they make is kind of annoying. Overall, a very meh area. However, the crypt, on the other hand, is not that bad. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the cathedral area, the first area of the game, but a little bit more modernized, kind of. It is a somewhat big area, but like it's kind of like a big square, so it's not that easy to get lost. It's very linear, let's put it like that. But what makes this area a little bit more entertaining is the fact that the enemies there is a little bit more well developed. For example, the very last area of the crypt, we have 3 kinds of enemies, and each enemy has an immunity to one type of magic attack and resistances to the other 2. So in this game we have 3 types of magic attacks. We have fire type spells, we have lightning type spells, and we have magic type spells. And so, for example, we have one enemy that is immune to fire and resistance to magic and lightning. We have another enemy that is immune to lightning but resistance to fire and magic. So it kind of keeps you on your toes to keep changing spells in order to defeat the enemies on that area. At first I found it a little bit annoying, but I kind of learned to appreciate it for what it is, and overall it was a very entertaining area to get past to. But only after I managed to get a magic spell in order to deal damage to some of the enemies, because I reached level 15 whenever I got to that area, 15 or 16, I don't remember, and I didn't have any kind of spells that dealt magic damage. So at first I got my ass handed to me, because there were some enemies that were immune to fire and lightning, so there was no way for me to deal damage against them. And yeah, that kinda sucks. So I kind of need to backtrack to town and talk to Adri a little bit in order to wait for her to have some spell books that dealt magic damage. So be prepared for that kind of situation. If you can, hoard your books, do the duplication glitch, which I'm not going to talk about it here. You can Google it, it's a very well known glitch in the game. So, but overall, the last area of the crypt is very entertaining. However, the very last boss of the Hellfire expansion, called Nakru, is a joke. I mean, the idea behind the fighting this boss is nice, but the execution not so much. I say that because throughout your journey inside the crypt, the 4 levels of the crypt, you will find several books that talks about this Nakru enemy, written by the same guy that shows up in the intro of the game. Apparently he sealed the book, the enemy away, the boss away, and the catch is he's still inside a room, and outside of the room we have 3 books and a lever. If you don't know what to do, you will go straight to the lever, open up the door, and realize that the boss is a damage sponge. You can throw all your magic at him and he won't die. I mean, eventually he will die, but he has a lot of health. I'm trying not to curse here because I'm trying to keep this video like cool. So he has a lot of health, and it's more than likely that you will die trying to defeat him. What you have to do, however, and it is said in one of the books that you find inside the crypt, you need to read the books outside of the room in a certain order. You don't know which order it is, so the first time that I tried it, I read it like in a certain order, nothing happened, so I thought to myself, maybe I need to read the books and then touch the lever. No, you don't. If you do the right thing, if you read the books in the correct order, the room will open up by itself. So if you don't get it the first time, like you will select 3 books, nothing happens, then select another 3 books in a different order until you get it done. Eventually you will do it because there's not that many tries that you can have since there's only 3 books. And once you do it, you will realize that the boss is very weakened to the point that you can defeat him with 4 or 5 chain lightnings. Very disappointing in my opinion. He will drop I think 4 items. He will drop 1 sword, 1 staff and 1 bow, along with a new spell for the Hellfire expansion, which is Apocalypse. Originally on the regular game, the spell Apocalypse is only available through scrolls, but the Hellfire expansion gives us the opportunity to learn the spell through a book. But I believe only the sorcerer will have the required magic in order to read the book, unless you have items that increase your magic, but that's kind of like out of the way for a warrior or a rogue build, I think. But I think the battle in Diablo later on compensates for the fact that the Hellfire expansion boss is so easy, because the Diablo boss, see, that's not related to the Hellfire expansion because it's always been like that. Diablo in this game can be very tricky. In the last boss, in the last area of the game, you have to open up 4 new areas, and Diablo will be on the last one. And he can be a little bit of a pushover, because he does use the Apocalypse spell, which pretty much blows up anything on the screen, so you will keep taking damage over and over and over again. So your best bet is to kill Diablo as fast as possible. Easier said than done, because along with him there's a whole bunch of other enemies, so you either lure Diablo out of the room that he is, or you try to lure the enemies first and then tackle Diablo on its own. But the best way to kill Diablo is to just use firewall or using any type of continuous damage spell against him, because he doesn't try to move away from the firewall. For example, if you put a firewall on his feet, he will keep staying there trying to damage you. You will take a lot of damage, however, so keep a lot of mana pots or health pots available because you will need them, but eventually you will be able to defeat Diablo like that. Another good thing about the Hellfire expansion is the fact that you don't really need to play the new areas of the expansion in order to enjoy the original game on its own, because both the nest and the crypt are technically optional areas in the main quest line of the game. So if you can pretty much just go through level 1 to 15, which is the original levels in the game, and never enter the new Hellfire new areas. So that's a good thing, because you would enjoy the new items and the new spells the Hellfire expansion brought to us without having to experience in the kinda meh new areas that it also brought to us. So I would recommend people to do just that. Install Hellfire expansion, play the game by what it is, but don't bother too much about exploring the nest and the crypt. It's not that worth it. But if you wanna do it, it's up to you. You know, at least give it a shot. Maybe play it once, see for yourself. But I think you would have more fun to play through the original levels inside the original game. But other than that, I would say that Diablo 1 on its own is like an 8 out of 10 in my opinion. 7 out of 10 maybe. But if you put the new areas of the Hellfire expansion, it kind of lowers to a 6 maybe. I'm not a huge fan. But like I said, try to play it on your own. Maybe you will have a different opinion, you have a different view of the new areas, and maybe you could have more fun than I did. And that's it for my wild thoughts on the game. I hope you have enjoyed, and hopefully we will see each other next time. Have a good one, everybody, and as always, take care.